Okay, now the first question says, while shopping at a supermarket, Tony bought 4 pounds of meat and 6 onions for a total of $15.96. Chris bought 3 pounds of meat and 4 onions for a total of $11.64. How much is it for 1 pound of meat and 1 onion? Now we've done this already, but again, I want you to pay attention to that last sentence. The first step is to find your variables. If you don't have variables, you cannot create your systems of equations. So the first step is to find your variables, and the last sentence is going to tell you what to look for those variables. 1 pound of meat and 1 onion. Now that means we're going to give it a variable. If we're going to call, let's call pound of meat M. And I don't like using O because it looks too much like a 0, so let's call onion N. Now we need to look for our totals. That's step 2. Find the totals used in your problems. So here it literally says a total of 1164, so that's a total. And it says here a total of 1596, so that's a total. So let's start with the 1596 because it's said first. We cannot put dollar signs in equations, therefore, or in calculators, therefore we're not going to put them in our equations. At 1596, we're going to look up here. It says 4 pounds of meat. We cannot write an equation 4 pounds of meat. We can't. But we've already given a variable for what a pound of meat is. That's M. So if we had 4 of them, it would just be 4M. This next one says 6 onions. We can't write out 6 onions because we can't write in our equations. But we do know that 1 onion is N. So 6 of them would be 6N. The exact same thing on the second problem. We have 1164 as our total, but what gets us to 1164? Chris's 3 pounds of meat, 3M, plus 4 onions, 4N. That's the equation. You are not solving these yet. Right now, all you're doing is creating your systems of equations. We did this prior to break, but we need to focus on it again. Problem 2, Jill spent $215.70 on books. Math books cost $28.50. English books cost $21.70. If she bought a total of 9, then how many of each kind did she buy? Again, that last sentence tells you what you're looking for. How many kind of each did she buy? How many of each kind did she buy? That means you need to figure out what is she talking about. What are the 2 things that she bought in this problem that could be kinds of items? We have here a math book, which I'm going to call M, and an English book, which I'm going to call E. Now we found our variables. Now we need to find our totals. So there's a total of 9, and that's talking about books. That's a total. Looking for another total. Here's a price, but they don't look like totals. She spent $215, so that's a total. Let's start with the money part of it. So let's say $215.70. That's a total, and the unit is money. If the unit is money, that means what we're putting into the problem must also be money. So if math book, we need to find where that they're talking about. The only 2 variables we're allowed to use, math and English, and money. So right here we have that math books cost $28.50 and English books cost $21.70. That's the only time they talk about money with these books. So if I'm going to say 1 math book talking about price, that means 1 math book is $28.50. Good. And 1 English book costs $21.70, so it'd be $21.70 Our other total is 9 for our 9 books. Now we don't know exactly how many of each kind she bought. She could have had 8 math books and 1 English book, or she could have had 9 English books and no math books. But we do know when we add however many math books she has plus however many English books she has, it will equal 9. That is your solution. I'm asking for the equation, not the answer. A lot of you have been giving me answers, meaning I know that you're having a little cheating help because no one said anything at all about solutions to these problems. So I want you to look at problem 3 from the list that I gave you. It says the school Store sells highlighters and permanent markers. Highlighters cost 60 cents. Permanent markers cost 80. On Tuesday, they sold 15 of these items, earning a total of $10. How many of each item did they buy? Take this time, pause your video, and make sure that you get these problems. Try to create this problem on your own for now. So push pause and try to see if you can do it. I will go over it in just a second, but I want you to try on your own. Just to make sure that you're on the right page, how many of each item did they sell is what you should be looking for your items. The items you used, the only thing they talk about are highlighters and permanent markers. So we'll just say H for a highlighter. And, not necessary. And P for a permanent marker. Now, if you use a different one, that's fine, as long as you did not use the same letter. You can't use H and H. Also should have found these totals. A total of 15 items and a total of $10. So from here, y'all go ahead, see if you can get the next steps. Okay, so you have a $10 total. That means we're focusing on money. Here's highlighters and money. And there would be your permanent markers and money. So if we have highlighters, we would say 60 cents for a highlighter plus 80 cents for a marker. And that's how it'd be written. Do not forget the decimals, because if not, then they'll think you're saying $60 for a highlighter. Okay, that's how it works. Now, what about the last one? We're talking about items. What items are they selling? They're selling some highlighters and some markers. That's the equation. That's all you're looking for. Number 4, a farmhouse shelters 23 animals. Some are goats, some are ducks. Although altogether there are 82 legs. How many of each animal are there? Tells you what you're looking for. Where do they talk about animals? They say G for goats and D for ducks. Where are our totals? We have a total of 23 animals. 82 legs, so that means something is going to equal 23 and something equals 82. Even if you get hung up and this is all you can do on the problem, that will give you credit because you at least know that this is how the problem is supposed to start. So when we're talking about 23, it means animals. So where are animals listed in the problem? Only right here, goats and ducks. Some. They didn't say how many, so we're just going to assume a couple of ducks or goats and a couple of ducks. We don't know if that's 22 and that's 21 or if that's 10 and that's 13, but we do know that when you add them together, it's 23. Now the next one is legs. It didn't mention legs in here because it expects you to know how many legs the goats have. Goats have 4 legs. How many legs do ducks have? 2 legs. That's your equation. Okay, last one on number 5 that we're going to practice together. It says Stefan spent $23 on utensils for his new apartment. Spoons cost $3, forks cost $4. He bought a total of 9. How many of each type did he buy? Tells you what we're looking for. Each type. Type of what? What's discussed in the problem. We have spoons talked about in the problem and forks talked about in the problem. We'll call spoons S. We'll call forks F. Now we're looking for our total. That's step 2. Total of 9 utensils. Total of $33. So we know something's going to equal 33 and something is going to equal 9. So 33 is talking about dollars. So we need to find where are our 2 variables and dollars talked about. Here's one right here. Spoons cost $3. Well, we can easily say that by saying 3S. Forks cost $4. We can easily address that by saying 4F. Now, the next one's just talking about utensils. That means we don't need a variable in front because we're talking about some unknown amount of spoons plus some unknown amount of forks gives us a total of $9. Okay, for full credit today, if you want your entire credit, I need you to read number 6. I need you to create me a systems of equation for number 6 and turn it in today. I don't care how you do it. If you send an email, you do it on Google Classroom, there will be options. But in order to receive credit, you must answer number 6.